Accepting real event feels like accepting I'm a monster. No, because monster is a conditional term. It's writing off the whole human being as a monster. So as you read The Myth of Self-Esteem, Albert Ellis' second book on our reading list, it will break that down. So a human can never be a monster. They can have traits or behaviours that aren't very helpful to them in life, but certainly can't be a monster, and that's a key principle there. In relation to real event OCD and guilt, it likes that because the past can't be changed. So it will, it's going to specifically go for that because it knows that if you say, often it will go for things in the future, maybe diseases, certain health concerns or whatever, but it will often also go for things in the past because you can't change the past. So and especially if it wants to try and sabotage you being chronically guilty forever and not enjoying your life, it's often going to go down that path. So you just got to be ready that it's going to do that. It's going to do that. It's going to attack you. I mean, bear in mind, it's not a sort of a monster thing. We often talk about it like that in the sense of it doing it to you, but it's just a sort of anxiety is protecting your life, and it's just more tuned like a sort of a smoke alarm that goes off a lot, very sensitive. And with anxiety, with OCD, you've got to. What you need to think about it is there to save your life. It is there. It is doing a good thing. We tend to view it in such a bad way, but it is doing a good thing. And it's the less you become scared of it, the better your relationship with it is going to become, because people often get very frightened of it itself, and then they're trying to internally reject it all the time, seeing it more as something to help you, as frustrating as it is. Now, it's obviously going to turn up the heat if you don't want to invite it to your wedding, to your honeymoon, to your holiday abroad, to everything. It's going to do that because it knows that it doesn't want to be, if you don't want to bring it along for the ride, it's going to keep turning up the pressure, and that's what it does, because it's like trying to not feel your heartbeat. If you try not feel your heartbeat's going to beat harder. So it was very much like that. Why I wanted to avoid holidays initially, and I used to want to avoid going abroad a lot because I always thought, OCD is going to destroy it, so I might as well be at home, because if I'm feeling shit here, what's the point of going? But then when I actually went and brought it for the ride more, I felt better over time. But that doesn't have to relate to going away. Often people message me just before they're going away. That can relate to going out for a nice lunch, going to see your family where you haven't seen them for a while, all different things, OCD is going to do that. And I remember those moments, like I remember those moments when I'm doing things now where I think this is nice. This is something that I would have disliked in the past with OCD, because I could remember all those moments where it was trying to sabotage it. And I think that's key to look at those points, where it's going to get in. It's going to get in on those things. It's going to, as you're going on holiday, it's going to say you've forgotten your passport. As you're going to see your family, it's going to maybe try and attack them in your mind, so you feel guilty when seeing them and ruin the moment, which might be ruined by sort of thinking that you're staring at them, or thinking bad things about them, or inappropriate things that you imagine are inappropriate. All different areas like that. So it will do that. It's always one move ahead because it's in you. So it's whenever you're already starting to look for something, it's already jumped in before. Hence why it can jump in prior to, if you're going shopping or something and there's a vulnerable person walking along, you might feel an urge to push them out of nowhere. Now that's not you wanting to push them. That's an urge that you're sending out that scanning for safety, and then it does that sensation. So that's where intrusive urges come. They come out of nowhere. So then people believe it's their sort of inner voice of themselves, where it isn't, but it feels like that. It's very confusing because people usually have a very limited understanding of OCD. It's not explained in that way, so then people are more scared of, oh my god, but I thought OCD was just thoughts, not urges. So that's why we do a lot of work on bringing the importance and awareness of urges to the forefront, so people can understand exactly how that operates and what's involved in that. And I think that's so key. to people's journey, because if they don't see that there's urges, thoughts, emotions, all of that can be manipulated, sort of hijacked in the brain where the OCD is in terms of it hijacking there, they then feel lost and think that there's something seriously wrong with them. Now, obviously, that can become a reassurance compulsion if it's sort of reiterated over and over again. But initially, it gives some understanding, the same as the thoughts are thoughts. And the initial part is it brings great understanding to a person because they realise, I'm not stuck forever going mad and something's wrong here. I actually have this condition, this thing called OCD, which is an anxiety disorder, and they understand it. So it gives them some understanding. But after that, it can become compulsive.